God of War 3 is the worst game of all time. Psych is the best game of all time. I made a video about it 2 weeks ago. Hello and welcome to Extreme Gameplays, where I play games stylishly. Today's video is gonna be a short critique of God of War 3. Now, while this game is my favorite game of all time and all that, it is however not flawless. Matter of fact, it has some things that I flat out despise in game design. It's just that I excuse it because this is God of War 3 and it's that good. And besides that, the game has ways to get around the horrible designs that it has, so that's why it's not gonna be that big of a problem when I replay the game every time, but it's still worth critiquing, as you may know. This is gonna be a short critique about God of War 3. I'm not gonna get too nitpicky, but I will nitpick some things here and there. Enjoy the short video of me critiquing my favorite game of all time. So to start the video off without wasting any time, the thing I hate the most in God of War 3 is the fact that you can't skip cutscenes. The function is simply not even built into the game. This is something I really hate about Santa Monica's idea of cutscenes. They're meant to be witnessed once for these action games, once in the story. Allow me to skip them after finishing the game once. That doesn't just go for God of War 3, they just didn't even know how to implement a cutscene skipping option, it seems. They only had it for God of War 1 if you restart a checkpoint and it takes you before a cutscene. Or like God of War 2 with the New Game Plus, but beyond that, they didn't do anything. Like, literally look at Ready at Dawn that developed the game God of War Chains of Olympus and God of War Goes to Sparta. They allow you to skip cutscenes if you beat the game once. Doesn't matter if you're entering a new difficulty after that one walkthrough or whatever. You can skip every single cutscene. God of War 3 simply does not have an official cutscene skipping option, which, to this day, it just kinda amazes me how that made it into development. Not being able to skip cutscenes is flat out a crime for a game that is begging to be replayed. This is the thing I truly hate the most in God of War 3. There are ways around it, of course. You know, this game is so lovely. You have manual saves, as they always save the day. But I just want an official cutscene skip because these manual saves are not gonna help me skip every cutscene in the game. Hell, I can literally add a cutscene skipping option into the game if I just had the source code. Anyways, that's that. Horrible choice for a game begging to be replayed, but we're past that right now. Next up in the list of critiques is nothing other than the New Game Plus not being a thing in the game. Look, nowadays I rarely play New Game Plus in any of my games, but I can never deny how awesome of a feature it is. It's just fun to horse around with it sometimes. Now, the game does have it, but in an unofficial way. You have to do this glitch where you enter the combat arena on hard difficulty, die 5 times, press no, you're taken back to the menu, and when you start, you have all the equipment and it's basically a New Game Plus, except you can't skip cutscenes. This does not work on PS3, by the way. It's no longer there, it's patched out. Like, see, if we had an official New Game Plus into the game, they might have also considered an official cutscene skip, where you press X and the cutscene is skipped. But no, we have to access New Game Plus through a glitch, which is... wow. I think you're seeing a pattern here. Even the lack of New Game Plus is there are ways around it to actually get a New Game Plus into the game. But I still just wanted to have an official, function of New Game Plus, an official cutscene skip, rather than me skipping with manual saves. Like, come on. I can't use manual saves for vanilla runs. That messes up with my upgrade routes. Why? The cutscenes are not that horrible to the point of me not being able to replay the game. The game is frankly this good that I replayed, even though the cutscenes are unskippable. But it's still, same thing with the New Game Plus. I can get it with this glitch, but I wish there was an official way to get it. And basically, yeah, that was that. No official New Game Plus. Next thing on the list of critiques would be the grab, auto lock, and the ground combat. Now again, this is another one that we found our ways around it by basically getting good in the game. The grab auto lock can sometimes ruin an entirely beautiful fight for you. You want to grab the enemy in front of you and you're even aiming the analog towards him, yet Kratos turns around and tries to grab the enemy behind him. Or basically the wrong guy sometimes. Now, why does this happen? Kratos in this game favors the biggest hitbox when deciding who he's gonna grab. So let's say we have a sentry in front of us and there's a Minotaur in front of us. Now, Kratos can grab the sentry, but he can't grab the Minotaur. I aim the analog towards the sentry and try to grab. Kratos goes to grab the Minotaur, which is just why is this even in the game? Again, as I said, we've gotten around this since now we know why Kratos automatically turns around like that, but it's still a horrible little bit of grab detection. It rarely happens nowadays for me, but when it happens, it's so covert. Next up on the list of critiques is Scorpius. Now, I love fighting this boss since he's a pretty big spice in difficulty for any run that you can do in the game, but I can't deny its flaws. Hell, I've made a whole ass bad boss episode for Scorpius. This guy has weirdly big hitboxes, hits like a goddamn truck, has a grab with no purpose of reversing it other than escaping, loves to spam said grab, loves to turn it into a whole one-shot bullet in phase 2 that also has a bullshit hitbox, but hey! I'm good against him and have gotten around literally all the things mentioned above, so I really like fighting him. Still though, these flaws cannot go unnoticed. The next and last critique I have regarding the game is the rage mode's damage. but you have to focus. It's funny, literally every critique in the video somewhat has a way around it, but still, this is a critique video that we have to critique things in the game in. I know we already have a damaging tool in the game, the Nemean Sisters, but this is a rage mode! How can it deal this shitty of a damage? Why doesn't it have Divine Reckoning from the start of the game, but upgraded in a way? You know how in God of War 2 you would build up the hit counter, and if it reached beyond 25 hits, you could do this giant explosion that gets more and more powerful the more hits you've counted up? Why is this feature not here in God of War 3? You could literally have Divine Reckoning for the Rage mode, and you build up more than 25 hits, and you can do a Divine Reckoning that deals a lot of damage. Why not? Why is it not? Why is it not here, man? Why? Very, very weird choice. And again, regarding the damage, I know, we all know, there's the Nemean Sisters for damage. But come on, Rage mode. At least do literally 5 times the damage you deal now. Then we'll have a true contender to God of War 1's autistic Rage of the Tarts. But in all honesty, the Rage mode has a very sweet move list and some awesome hit properties, just that the damage ain't it. If it deals this horrible damage, might as well make it last twice as it does in the game. The Rage is good for canceling attacks and doing some sweet ring out setups here and there, some knockback setups for some enemies apart, you know. And it is generally good against small enemies, like generally for interrupting them and actually dealing nice damage on them. But that's about it. It should at least deal, I'm being serious, 5 times the amount of damage that it deals in here. It should be broken. It should be Fear Kratos levels of rage damage. And with all that said, that's the most I can critique about this game. All have ways around them to bypass the bullshit, but they're still worth critiquing, as I said. If I go any further critiquing things, that would make the video fall into the nitpick territory, and we don't want to dive that deep into critiquing the game. We can go literally all day, and I literally just even left out critiquing the story as a whole. I only wanted to focus on the gameplay critiques in here. The story has been critiqued to all hell and back. With all that said, we reached the end of this video about my favorite game of all time. Make sure to check out the full shilling mother-based glazing ass video that I made about the game 2 weeks ago. Thanks, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It has been your Extreme Gamer Zesty. Peace.